So stakeholder engagement, from the poll that we've done, I think that this is something that the vast majority of you are familiar with. It's really increased in scope over the last several years, the number and types of stakeholders, as well as the level of influence they exert on a company or another organization. And it ranges from the more obvious folks like investors/shareholders and employees and customers to governments, NGOs, suppliers, even the communities in which a company operates. And the main theme underlying the trend in stakeholder engagement is that companies are going from a focus in the 20th century on their shareholders, focus on all of their stakeholders in this century. And there are a lot of underlying dynamics and reasons for that. Technology is definitely one of them, especially in the area of communications and information availability. And so it's both a reactive thing that's happening as a result of reaction, as well as companies being more proactive. And stakeholder engagement, before I go on, I have a slide that clearly is around social media, which is one of the newer social communications platforms and technologies that have developed that has led to greater transparency by default, and also for the ability for companies to be proactive in how they communicate with their stakeholders. Our focus in this presentation, because of the breadth of the material, will be focused on the digital environment and social media in our examples and cases. Stakeholder engagement goes much deeper than that, and I feel I should mention that before I move on. There are plenty of organizations who had started as leaders in using stakeholder engagement, where the practice is to get people, your stakeholders, involved both in person as well as through teleconferences and other forums, and to engage them in an interactive and personal way, and really understand what is important to them as far as your organization is involved, as far as your industry is involved around the area of sustainability. So having said that, this slide that's up now, the conversation is happening. It's happening in a number of ways. It's certainly happening in the digital environment on a number of platforms. And that's happening whether your company or organization chooses to participate or not. And it's really surprising to us how many people really are not very deeply involved with it. In fact, not involved with it at all. At the very least, it's an easy, relatively easy thing to do to listen into this environment, to see what stakeholders are saying about sustainability issues relevant to your industry and even specifically to your company. And in fact, a large percentage of people are looking to dialogue in the online environment and through new media. And so here we have a study done by a market research firm, Cone, that has a number of statistics indicating that high level of people that expect to be able to engage with companies and brands online, and especially in new media, or what some people refer to as Web 2.0. So here's an example of, and this is just one of many that we see all the time, but companies not necessarily being prepared for the conversation that's occurring. This is just a snapshot of Nestle's Facebook page as one example of feedback that they're getting from their Facebook visitors or stakeholders. And there's comments on this page, and we've seen this over and over again. It happens with all of the large organizations, and there will always be critics. But some of the feedback is extremely informing, and much of it should be something that companies are ready to respond to. Obviously, it won't make sense to respond to everything, but certainly to be aware of what's out there and respond where it makes sense in a constructive way. There are leaders in the field that are doing an excellent job with stakeholder engagement, and again, especially in the digital environment. Stonyfield Farm is one of the leaders in sustainability that had also been a leader from the start in the digital environment and in social media. And one example of a positive comment indicating their level of transparency and how they communicate with their stakeholders. And here in Stakeholder, last excellent example, Timberland. Also one of the top leaders in engaging their stakeholders online. They have an Earthkeepers microsite, which is their sustainability themed microsite. And within that, they have the Voices of Challenge, which is their proactive way of trying to engage their stakeholders online, actively soliciting their feedback, not just listening, not just providing a forum, but setting up the resources, the information, and providing the tools, and proactively asking their stakeholders for the feedback they need to maintain their leadership status in the areas of sustainability that are material and relevant to timberland. And so engagement's bottom line is that sustainability is evolving fast, and it's huge and interdisciplinary, covering many functions across a business, depending upon the issue or issues. The dialogue that you can establish with stakeholders helps you identify those things that they think are most important from your industry perspective, from your specific business's perspective, and share their expertise in various fields that would be relevant, and allow a company to tailor its efforts around those most important areas. And in that process of dialoguing, their sustainability efforts therefore have developed greater substance. And then that substance in turn leads to greater dialogue among their stakeholders, and the benefits of being seen as a leader in their industry around issues of